whole set of the story, you know, Adam and Eve and the tree and the snake and the animal. Well, how Adam and Eve look like you when we was here like 270,000 years before you? So that whole idea of divinity, which led down to the divine right, the structures of European kingdoms and empires and all of that stuff, you go through the Middle Ages, the Dark Ages, the Middle Ages, into the Renaissance, the reinnovation of art. And then what happens is that a dude from Italy, his name was Marco Polo, he starts traveling. You know, not a bad dude, he's a cool dude. Like, he likes to see, you know, new countries, new cultures, you know, just what's happening over there. Goes to China. China had fireworks for celebrations. They have had these fireworks literally for centuries. For centuries. They, you know, when we coming into the 4th of July, we in New York, we all gonna get pissed off from fireworks that China had for thousands of years, hundreds of years. But Marco Polo grabs some of that gunpowder that creates the fireworks and he brings it back to Italy. What happens?
They make guns.
They make guns. So now I'm weaponized with the idea that God looks like me, so I have divine right. And not only do I have divine right, but now I have a weapon of mass destruction. So now wherever I go, I have dominion, and I have dominion and I have a weapon. So you have to understand the history, the trajectory of history to understand where we are right now. The idea of white supremacy, the idea of, you know, stripping rights away. For me, a person with a penis to say, well, girl, you know, if you get knocked up, you know, you're gonna have to keep that kid, even if your life is in danger. To say that, you know, you look across the country, there's over 400 bills making it harder for people like us, who look like us, to vote. Why? What happened in the last, say, 60 years? What happened?
Black people, young folks, and everybody else that was others started voting, and they realized that we was gonna take states, cities, countries, if we could, in a heartbeat.
Yes, but and specifically, why is Trump? Like, they had a lot of options to go from, but why Trump?
We had a black president.
There you go.
That's what I mean. We took a country. We took a country.
There you go.
We said, we found out and we fucked around, and the first, youngest, flyest hip hop president is in the White House acting like it's his fucking living room.
And that's where we are right now, guys. Like, and that's what this piece is. To find the Leonardo da Vinci image of the Last Supper. Blackface to represent like the historic demonization or defining of our ancestors. Like, literally they're erasing our history right now. They're literally erasing our history right now while bitching about, you know, why y'all gotta take my Confederate statue down. You know? So all of that blackface, the Confederate flag, the Trump, intertwined with the Trump flag, you know, the misogyny of the woman on the strip pole, the black woman on the strip pole. There's crack pipe, there's a dildo, there's a bunch of them. The watermelon. Yeah, I can't even tell you what's on there because I forgot. But there's a crack pipe right here, you know, the cup, you know, the Constitution, and all of those things that we really take for granted.
The watermelon got me.
I'm an artist too, and I've been focused on like preservation as well, because I see so much correlation what's happening like overseas and with the wars. And I'm really grateful that like on Juneteenth I went to this urban planner, and she was discussing how like some of the parks that we all know and love, experience what Seneca Village, you know, and Central Park experienced. And I've been so focused on like preserving like our stories in my own artwork, and so I'm really happy to see your artwork and see like how you also are tying those like themes of like making sure that like our presence is known in history.
Well, what I think right now, I love that you're an artist, because I think, you know, that, like I said, I think our artists are the translators of God. You know, we filter through our work from, it is a spiritual conversation. Like, I'm not trained in anything I do, from my photography to my filmmaking to painting. So I really don't know what I'm doing, but I know that it has to be done, because we have to have the courage to speak. You know, we have to have the courage to speak as artists and be unapologetic about this painting or that photo. You know, I don't paint necessarily to sell. I hope people like my work enough to buy it. That's great, because I have rent to pay too. We live within a structure. However, you know, my proudest moments, one of my proudest moments, I also do spoken word, and I have my first CD called Naked Under My Clothes, and I also write and produce, and we did a film, my series of short films, Naked Under My Clothes, the anthology. You could go to YouTube and check it out, Sage Gallen, Gallon. But, you know, the second version, the second installment was, the first installment was the kid's perspective. Lived in hell, mother who was a good mom at one point, became a hooker and drug addict, and, you know, the husband was abusive. The kid runs out of the house, the mother chases after him, which brings us into the second installment, called Woman. I had the greatest cast. Tabitha Brown was a friend of mine, and I wrote that specifically for her. Eamon Joseph, he was in Snowfall. Sean Carter Peterson, Nick Few. If you guys are familiar with Tabitha Brown, Nick is her brother. You know, so I had a great cast. But one of the most proudest moments creatively for me, or artistically for me, was after we released the Woman video. This young lady on Facebook hit me up. She was like, Sage, you know, we've never met, but I followed you, and I just watched your video, and I just needed to just tell you that I'm pregnant with my second child. I have a toddler. And I'm pregnant with my second child. I watched your film and I left. This woman was in an abusive relationship. So our art is meant to speak. You know, our art is meant, Nina Simone, and I always say this, famously said, you know, our job, our purpose is to speak. You know, again, I've been very fortunate. I've been able to have a few collectors and do a few things in my experience. But that moment, knowing that I did something that affected someone's life, that you're doing something that preserves our history, that you all are doing something and being present in this process, particularly for artists of color, particularly for us. Because if you're not Jean-Michel Basquiat, or Wiley, or, you know, that famous black guy, because, you know, they're good at picking one of us. You know, they're good at, it's your turn now, boy, come on. Get in the spotlight, boy. Not y'all, that one. How many black people brought Basquiat when Basquiat was alive?
But was he advertised to us?